Politicians are shaky people. Why do you think people flocked from Uhuru to Ruto? Does Ruto think because he's special, there's anything special about him? Or he had a very convincing tongue to bring these politicians? The answer is no. The people saw the house was on fire. The ship was sinking. Hawakutaka kuwa kama inzi inaenda na maiti kaburini. Waliona Ruto, Uhuru watu wamemkataa manake uchumi ni mbaya. Wakatoroka wakakuja kwa Ruto. So Ruto may think there's something special about him. No.
The ground.
Yeah, the ground. Hata wenyewe walikuwa sema ground ni mbaya. Even very close people to Uhuru. Wanafika mahali wanasema bana yenyewe ground ni mbaya. That's happening to Ruto. It just started.
A very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Gerald Kabiro. Always glad that you join us every single day for political conversations that we hope will help our leaders in making better policy decisions, informed political moves. I'm here with Herman Manyora, the hard hitter who says it as he sees it in an unbiased way. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Haven't seen you since Easter. How have you been?
I was in Luombe.
Yeah?
Luombe.
Early retirement plans or what?
No, just Luombe. It's a good place to stay. Fresh air, green. No trouble.
Our conversation comes from, I think, most of the people that live where you are, most of them are practicing agriculture, some of them are farmers. And you listen to CS Mithika Mlinturi talking about fake fertilizers, saying there are people investigating, he hasn't heard anything about this, is not from the government, people should go ahead and buy fertilizers. Senate, of course, has summoned Mithika Mlinturi, the CS, together with the NCBD, MD, Kenya Bureau of Standards, National Intelligence. They're trying to understand why are we getting rocks in fertilizers. First of all, from where you sit, how is the government handling this situation? Because look, it is clear we are seeing videos of farmers getting rocks from fertilizers, but the government is saying, look, go ahead and buy this fertilizer. How is the handling from where you sit?
I don't know. Is there anything to talk about handling? Is there any, you mentioned CS, do we have a CS agriculture? We don't have a CS agriculture.
Mithika Mlinturi, Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture.
Somebody like that. I thought he had resigned. This thing is big. There's no point of denying. And there's nothing to investigate. But let me tell you this thing is big.
How so? How big is it?
This thing is big, and it will hit the government. It will hit Ruto, it will hit Gachagua. Each in their own way. Yeah.
How so? Because you're saying, look, let's not
in terms of the farming communities, our farmers are to be found in Rift Valley, where Ruto comes from. Our farmers are to be found in Mount Kenya, where Gachagua comes from. And unfortunately for Gachagua, the farmers in Mount Kenya are more sensitive. They are people who are more informed. They are the people least to stomach the pain of this fake seed and fake fertilizer. So this thing will hit Gachagua more than it will hit government and more than it will hit Ruto. That's what I've said before on Twitter. And I am repeating it here. This is not a joke. There are two things here. Either this is sabotage on the part of some people to sabotage government, where I'm saying Ruto and Gachagua will be the victims, Gachagua more than Ruto, or either it is a bigger design by the big players, global players, they are called globalists, who want to remove farming from small farmers in the world and make it a big man game.
Isn't this too far-fetched, Prof? You're saying it's a global agenda.
The global agenda, even farmers in Europe are up in arms. You saw not so long ago in France. There are big things to stop people from even keeping animals because of nitrogen, as we are told. Green gas, and the push either to have control keeping of beef animals, which is another way of saying only a few big companies, multinationals, will keep animals, or to turn people into plastic meat. You heard about the meat?
Yes.
Artificial meat. This is where the world is going. So this is either sabotage to hurt Ruto and Gachagua, and they must be careful. If they play with these things, it will bring them down, or it is part of the globalist agenda to remove farming from small people. It's very unfortunate, but it's happening globally.
But when you
Even if you look at our own laws already in place, they are about to sideline small farmers. So this is something we should not play around with.
If you say it's a well-orchestrated scheme, but we have KEBS, we have NIS, we have NCPB. Do you mean all of these agencies are in it together because this fertilizer were well approved, they are getting sold in county government?
When the Linturi is denying, and I was going for my fertilizer, and we were told they have stopped because of that. So what is this? You know, this kind of stupidity, as a people, we must stop. And I keep repeating, this is our country. Let's have some little love for this country. It will collapse. And these guys who think they are benefiting are the ones who will suffer. Between I and Linturi, if this country collapses, who will suffer most? Me, I'll just go to Bombay. I have nothing to lose. I don't have the billions he has. No. I don't even need to run away from this country.
You think he's a billionaire?
Yeah, of course, these are billionaires. I'm not talking about Linturi as a person. I'm talking about that class that is so blind to what is happening. They don't even know it is them who are benefiting from a country called Kenya. So when Kenya is afloat, when things are moving in Kenya, it is them who are benefiting, taking their children to the best schools internationally and locally, living the best homes, the best neighborhoods, Karen, Lavington. It is they. They are eating the cream of this country. Since to go chin to Nakula drugs, it is them who should be interested in the well-being of this country. It is them who should make sure people are peaceful. How do you keep people peaceful? You make sure they can eat. They don't want your 5-course meal. They just want to eat. For heaven's sake, they just want
to eat.
So when you begin selling them stones and maram and sand instead of fertilizer and give them fake seeds, what are you talking about?
Then what is the right step after realizing that there is stones or pebbles being sold as fertilizer as a cabinet secretary? Because he says we're investigating, and look, he might not even know where it came from. So the right step is to ask agencies
what is there to investigate?
To investigate where it came from.
There's nothing to investigate. This was a scam from the word go. And we have said it repeatedly. This so-called subsidized fertilizer was just a scheme to make people rich. And here it is, the chicken are coming home to roast. We said it. If you want fertilizer, you do government to government. Why can't the government of Kenya talk to the government of Morocco, for example? And talk to another country like Ukraine, for example. Tell Morocco, we need so much fertilizer. How much will you give it for us? We want to give it to our farmers. You give us commercially, and then we are waiving all the taxes and what have you. When it gets to a farmer at 1,500, 1,800. Then the government does the supply. There are no businessmen involved. The moment you make it a business, you will end up with this kind of scam. Yeah. You don't make it a business. No.
So how much from where you sit should this fertilizer be sold to Kenyans? Because some are saying they're buying at 6,500, some are saying
fertilizer, if it is subsidized, it should be about 1,500 to 1,800. 1,500 is okay, if it's subsidized. It's actual subsidy. Between an average of 15, give or take 200, 300. 1,200, 1,500, 1,800 maximum.
There are calls for the CS to resign. Isaac Mora, government spokesperson, says not yet. It's not. He shouldn't resign now because they're still investigating. You started the conversation by asking, is there even a CS? What do you expect from President William Ruto? Because there are calls from Kenyans. Even Babu Wino was asking for the resignation of the CS for healthcare, Nakumincha.
Do you also have one for health? They are not there.
Let's go back. What should the president do? Because we are looking at this ministry.
What you're asking me is
it seems so crazy.
What you're asking me is a very simple question. It requires a very simple, straightforward answer. The president has to restore hope in the people of Kenya. There is no hope. People have lost hope. And when you are the president of a country where people have lost hope, then you are really on quicksand. Anything can happen. If you look at history, many of the bad things that have happened, some people view them as nice because they then change society, revolutions and what have you. They are never caused by the causes, never. At least not directly. People can live with problems for 1,000 years For 100 years. The French Revolution didn't happen because the people had begun experiencing the problems. If anything, the king had begun doing something about the problems people have had. The best example is Tunisia. Because the moment you allow underlying problems to be there and for the people to be restless, you just need a spark. That's how revolutions happen. That's how governments are kicked out of power. With all this mess in the country, you just need a small thing to happen. Like in Tunisia, when that guy doused himself in fuel and set himself on fire, then the Arab Spring things happened. That's how revolutions happen. They are never caused by the causes. Never. The causes are always there. So don't allow people to live in a state such as we are now entering as a country. Ukienda hapa ni fake fertilizer, ukienda hapa ni fake seed, ukienda hapa ni fake oil, ukienda hapa ni physical shida. Everywhere you go is a problem. How can you be happy to be the president in a country like that? Because it requires just a spark and everything will be beyond your control. You'll find yourself on a helicopter running away. Because
this is the situation we are having. You buy fake fertilizer, you want to take your wife to the hospital, there's no doctor. You go to buy something, the prices have doubled.
You buy oil, it is fake, it's expired. Rice comes in from outside, it is fake. Everything is fake. We are becoming a fake country.
Let's go back to fertilizer a bit, but what is the net effect? Because as we sit here in Nairobi, it seems like we do not understand. We're just seeing news of pebbles in when people are buying fertilizer. What is the net effect in the long term? Because now it's the time farmers are planting. What will we look at in the next 6-7 months when it comes to harvesting?
You see, there is a man who may have wanted to plant, but looking at what's going around, he has just said, no, this year let me skip. And he's not alone. There's another one and another one. And the net effect is we are going back where we were, where we don't have sufficient food, where prices go up. The prices of maize flour is down. I was buying. Even today I've just bought. It's so low. The president may celebrate he has done it, but he has not done it. It's because there was a good crop. You could attribute the good crop to fertilizer. Good. But with all these shenanigans happening, then the crop will not be good. And there's no way you'll bring the price of maize flour down. If the crop is not good, if the harvest is not good, there is no way you'll bring prices of maize flour down. Unga itabaki juu. So that's where we are headed. And that's why I'm saying there is no hope in the country. And when a country has lost hope, what governments do, prime ministers and presidents, what they do is one thing, which is to try and do something to create hope. What is this they do? They reorganize government. That's why I'm asking, is there a CS called Linturi? Do we have a call Nakumija? Ruto may keep them. Let him keep them. It's good, let him keep them. But they will cost him. In the fullness of time, they will cost them.
Do you think this...
The best thing to do is to create... When people see you taking action like that, they know you feel them. They know you know what they are going through. They know you appreciate their pain. They know you are together with them. So by simply reorganizing your government, that's what is done universally. You may not do much, just reorganize your government, send the Nakumija home, somebody else, about 6-7 of them home. And Kenyans will be talking about it in every market. You will have reignited hope in the country.
What is the difficulty in that? Because
politics.
It doesn't seem like the president doesn't know what you're saying. He knows that he needs to restructure. There are calls. Even I think they're taking it to Parliament for the resignation of, for the impeachment of CS Nakumija. What is difficult with the president? There
are always many reasons. Either political consideration. These are people who helped you in the arithmetics of how you going to power. They played a role. And therefore you promise them, and you are keeping them, even if they mess, you keep them there. The other reason could be the globalists, the big players. If the big players are happy the way things, the mess in the health sector, they are happy with the mess in the agriculture sector, they will not allow you to touch these people who are making the mess possible. You get what I'm saying? Did you hear what Steve Mbogo said in that clip that has gone viral? There's a big agenda going on in the world. So if they are the ones in charge, then they will not allow you to remove people who are allowing the mess to continue. But there's a bigger problem. And I always advise Ruto. I have always wondered why one of these days he can't just even call me for a cup of tea. Say, Manyora, you may not be a very good man, but you keep giving me good advice. Kaa hapa kunywa chai. Kunywa tu chai peke yake. Hata sitakupa kazi. Kunywa tu chai. Na nikushukuru tu.
1 hour of your time.
Yeah, not even an hour, 30 minutes. He's a big man. You know, something is happening in this country. It happened to Uhuru, it's going to happen. It's already happening to Ruto. Politicians are shaky people. Why do you think people flock from Uhuru to Ruto? Does Ruto think because he's special, that there's anything special about him? Or he had a very convincing tongue to bring this politician? The answer is no. The people saw the house was on fire. The ship was sinking. Hawakutaka kuwa kama inzi inaenda na maiti kaburini. Waliona Ruto, Uhuru watu wamemkataa manake uchumi ni mbaya. Wakatoroka wakakuja kwa Ruto. So Ruto may think there's something special about him. No.
The ground.
Yeah, the ground. Hata wenyewe walikuwa sema ground ni mbaya. Even very close people to Uhuru. Wanafika mahali wanasema bana yenyewe ground ni mbaya. That's happening to Ruto. It just started. So what will happen? The people, the MPs when they go, especially kwa kina Rigathi Gachagua, Mount Kenya, they are told things by people. I told you the Mount Kenya people are the most sensitive. Okay? The most informed. The one who suffer most. Okay? If it is agriculture, they are the most modern in terms of agriculture and everything. They feel the pinch more. That's why I'm saying Gachagua should be careful in this game. When MPs go there, they are told stuff. And they are beginning to see that association with Ruto may cost their political careers. It's a fact. He has intelligence, you can go and ask. The intelligence tells the people the truth. They only ignore.
This is what we saw with the KRA officials.
Yeah.
When they went.
People told them,
and
no.
the MPs had to switch sides.
So now, the MPs for now have a problem. They may not abandon Ruto. They are still afraid and they are still hopeful things will change. But they must send signals to the ground. That's why Gachagua and some MPs have been questioning these taxes that are hurting Mount Kenya people. You see, you must see that questioning in this context of not necessarily trying to distance themselves from Ruto, but to create some safe space for themselves. And that's why I'm saying, if Ruto listens to advice from people like Manyora, fire a few CS to stop the tide. Why? These impeachment motions will succeed in a way that will shock him. Because that is what MPs will do. To send signal to their people on the ground. We notice, we hear you, we feel you. Hii yenyewe hii serikali inaumiza nyinyi.
But not telling Ruto directly.
Yeah, so they will say it through by passing these motions. And the moment one passes, another one will come. By the time you get to 4, you want to reorganize government, is too late. The tide is already there. The government is looking pretty bad at that time and shaky. So what Ruto needs to do now is to reorganize his government.
So something as
to forestall what I'm seeing going to happen. I know these MPs are weak. I know they are bought cheaply, and I'm saying it publicly because they have said it themselves. They have talked of toilets. We don't go to parliamentary toilets. We don't work in parliament. So they are the ones who have told us their own colleagues are being bribed with 10,000 in toilets. So these are cheap fellows. It's not a secret. We all know it, and they have told us. You may think you'll have them, but a politician always thinks of the next election. And 2027 is not far. It's just about 3 years.
We've started campaigns.
They are already looking at 2027. They are those who want to become governors. They are now MPs. They are senators. They want to become governors. They want to become this. They want to go back to parliament. I'm telling you, they will not die with you. They will send a signal that they know things are bad. They realize the president is bringing excesses and hurting people, and there's no better way to show than to support these impeachment motions brought by the opposition. That you can be sure. Tell me how somebody like Omushomba will not support such a motion. And she's not alone. And there are those who are quiet, but they will do it. Jina ikisomwa huyu aliunga mkono. The list comes out. Akienda nyumbani yeye ni Simba. People say, you know we are suffering. He has assured himself of the next election. So my advice to the president is reorganize your government. And I've said it many times. He should have done it much earlier than now. But he's going to do it when it is too late.
Oh, gotta wrap up. Something as little as agriculture or fake fertilizers can actually lead to the impeachment of CSs and actually lead to MPs turning against the president. That is Herman Manyora for you. But until we do talk again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day. Leave a comment down below.
Thank you, Judge.